3 days from the start of the Global Dokkan Campaign. But who will be on the banners? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We are discussing the upcoming Global Dokkan Campaign 2025 banners, as we are just 3 days away. And I know many of you guys are excited to summon on these banners, but of course you want to know who is going to be there. So today we're going to break that down as, like typical anniversary / worldwide banners, it's pretty formulaic. So let's go ahead. Let's hop on in. So first things first, we do have confirmation from iSeriously that it is a Dokkan Fest / Carnival banner. So we'll be working off that. As we know, iSeriously has access to, or at least has a source who has access to, the in-game data that can see when Dokkan Fest events are going to be updating. So this pretty much tells us that only one Dokkan Fest event is coming, being updated, meaning Dokkan Fest Carnival format, which we did kind of expect, right? They've sort of done away with the dual Dokkan Fest format for these big celebrations, so nothing out of the ordinary there, but it is nice to have confirmation. So with that in mind, let's go ahead, let's start talking about the banner. So I do want to put out that I did do a banner prediction, basically going over everything that should be on the banners and how you can sort of prep yourself, grinding out units and whatever you need to do there. So I'll link that in the description down below, because we're not going to go over the full grinding guide here, as we did do that in the previous videos. But I mean, this is more just going to be sort of a consolidated version of the list that we previously discussed back during early June in our prep guide series. And just wanted to kind of get that out of the way. So with that in mind, right, if we're talking these banners, right, we basically have to look no further than the previous worldwide banners, like the Gohan banner here, or the Broly banner, or the Trio banner, right? These are pretty much going to be the telltale signs of what to expect from these banners. So, right, for example, if we look at the Broly banner here, right, we have Broly, the new unit, a banner unit, previous Golden Week and New Year's units, previous worldwide and anniversary units, New Year's and worldwide units, as well as 2 TUR, Easy A's, or Super Easy A's. So if we go based on that, starting with the Carnival banner, this is sort of what we can expect. Now, this year is slightly different, as we are now synced. We do have return time slots for major LRs, such as anniversary, that we have to think about. So I am assuming that the Dokkan Fest is going to be the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, and Vegeta, as they are the face of the app icon now, which typically is the Dokkan Fest unit. So I'm assuming that they are the Dokkan Fest. It could be the Rose, doesn't really matter. You just swap them out, whoever it is going to be. So we know that the banner unit will likely be something related to working with them. Could be a Trunks, could be a Bulma, could be, I don't know, a regular Zamasu or something. Like it could be anything Future Saga related. There's some stuff they can do here, but there will be a banner unit, right? So there will be a total of 10 featured units on the banner and 8 returning units. The first major returning unit we should concern ourselves with is, of course, the Super Vegeta. This was the 10th anniversary LR, and Tanabata is typically the return slot for these guys, specifically in the Part 2 Tanabata banner. However, since that is no longer occurring, and we are still currently 6 months out from their initial release, it's pretty safe to assume that they will likely be on the banner rather than pushed to September, because that's a long wait for a unit return. 6 months is already very long when we consider Dokkan, so I don't imagine them pushing them any further. I imagine Vegeta will be on the banner since he was the Part 1, but they could swap it and put Gogeta on the banner. Gogeta would work pretty I mean, both of them will work very well with the new unit, so either one, it'll be one of them. Then, of course, we will have our previous returning worldwide unit, either the Trio or Broly. Since Broly was Part 2, I'm thinking maybe they might put him for the Part 1 banners this time. But if it's not Broly, then it'll be the Super Saiyan Trio down here. Next, the previous worldwide units before that, right? We typically have 2 of them on there. And so the previous one before that was the AGL Vegeta, of course. So now for this one, I do imagine, since the main Dokkan Fest unit is the Vegeta, I could imagine them putting the AGL guys on there over the Zamasu for Part 1, even though there is also a Zamasu in part 1 as well. Then, of course, we have a previous, right, if we look at the Dokkan Fest, we do have previous anniversary LRs, so we can assume that Beast Gohan will be here as well. If not Beast, then, of course, Broly. And that's pretty much for the LRs, right? 5 LRs is who we should see here. The rest of the units will be TURs, right? 2 returning TURs and 2 Super EZAs or EZAs. The 2 returning TURs should be Hit or Kaioken Goku and Glorio or Daima Goku. Doesn't really matter which one. Again, if it's not one, it will be the other. Now, I know both of these guys were just on the Golden Week banners, and that is the worldwide banners are typically the return for both of these after Golden Week. However, that is typically in September. That time frame has shifted now, all right? But we do know that the Tanabata banner is in September now. Now, the thing about that is it's not a dual Dokkan Fest. So I can't imagine them putting, like, maybe these guys, since they've returned a few times, could be put on the same banner, but Hidden God Goku aren't getting put on the same banner. Since it's not a dual Dokkan Fest, they need to split these guys up that way. This is the only real place to do it, unless they're going to wait till New Year's again, which I would hope not. This is really the only place to do it. So Hit and Super Saiyan God Goku should be returning here. Now, the last 2 units are going to be EZAs or Super EZAs. Now, I would like to see both of these guys EZA during the campaign, and I imagine they're probably very likely to happen, right? Since these guys are focusing more on their tag rather than Vegeta, I could see them Super Easy and Vegeta to give us to use. So these 2 units here could be likely the last 2 units on the banner. If it's not them, then it's one of the upcoming EZAs that we have, right? Such as the tech androids, or possibly the AGL Trunks. These are 2 TURs that need EZAs from Future Saga. They could definitely fit in on it here. However, I do think since they are both from Z Future, these guys are the likely candidate, and if part 2 is more related to Z Future, then I can see those guys there. So that's why I put them there. Now, of course, right, you know, you may be asking, well, Caltech, you said EZAs. Vegeta and Trunks should EZA. Why are they not here? Well, I don't think they'll be on the banner, much like they did last year with Gogeta and Janemba. They will probably put them on their own separate banner. I think a good indicator of their EZA and whether or not they're going to get a banner is if they end up on the paid stone when those drop. That'll probably give us our clearer hint there. So this is what I'm expecting for the Dokkan Fest. For the Carnival, I'm expecting Rose to be the Carnival. If not, right, it'll be the other guys. So we just swap them. It's not really that big of a deal. It's whoever it is. Following the same format as previous worldwide banners, right? This one, we're not going to follow the top legendary because this isn't a top legendary. Top legendary was pretty much full LRs. That's not going to be the case here. So that's we should probably look at this one here. So if we are looking at this one, all right, we know that there are going to be 8 LRs and 2 banner units. So starting with the Rose, of course, is going to be here on this, and then we'll have our 2 returning 10th anniversary LRs. I'm assuming they'll mix it part 1 and part 2 on the banner, and then putting the other 2 on the other banner. Now, I figured since these 2 are related, TOP, they might keep them together, but they might do like Gohan on and Vegeta on part 1, and then Goku and Frieza on part 2. It doesn't really matter how they split it up, but likely they will do that. Then, of course, we have previous returning worldwide units through the STR. Gohan here, he should be here to counter his the Broly in the Dokkan Fest, and of course, if it isn't Gohan, then it'll be the Tech Broly, right? One or the other will be here on the part 1 banners, and then the other will be on the part 2. Now, I can see them putting LR, Rose, and Zamasu just to kind of fit the theme of the celebration. There's always one random LR that does that, so I can imagine them putting Rose and Zamasu, right? So, like, example here, if we look at the part 2 banner, that was the Tech, this guy here, or I'm sorry, this guy, it kind of just thrown in there to randomly fit, so it could work. Now, typically there is the returning April Part 2 on here, but that's usually only on Global. On JP, he doesn't really return. There isn't really too many other people to fit in this slot, so I'm going to assume they might just keep this since we are also returning Gogeta, right? There aren't too many other options to put here. Except maybe Zamasu, but again, if Vegeta and Trunks are going to Easy A, then likely Zamasu is going to Easy A, and of course they will have their own separate banner. But the rest of these units should be pretty straightforward. Trunks, being from Dragon Ball Super, he's likely going to be on the Part 1 worldwide banners as a returning worldwide unit. I imagine Z Gohan will be in Part 2. And then, of course, Gogeta or the Gammas will be here, as well as the returning Anniversary LR units. This one's a little more straightforward than the Dokkan Fest banner, but this should be pretty standard. All of these units we did go over in our previous video that we did on this topic about who you should grind out. I no longer think Gotenks or the Omega or anyone like that is going to show up here. Just given how they're going to handle this. They could put Omega instead of Pycon. They could do that, since he hasn't returned in a while. I could see that happening, but I definitely think as a yellow coin, he will probably be one of the few yellow coins that show up here. The Pycon will. So, guys, that is it for the video. That is who you can expect on the Dokkan Fest and the Carnival banners for the upcoming Global Dokkan celebration. In terms of the random SSRs, pretty much just pick any random Future Saga SSRs here that you can just throw on the banner. There are pretty much nobody that they could sub EZA, so it's not going to be any sub EZA units. So it'll just be units who already have their sub EZA is very likely to be in this position. So just throwing that out there. So guys, that's it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, all right? Who do you think might be on the banner? Who's somebody you think I might have missed on either the Carnival side or the Dokkan Fest side? Or who is somebody you would like to see returned here, if not already covered? And who do you think the EZAs and Super EZAs are going to be? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.